Okay, subtracting fractions. Subtracting fractions is done much in the same way that you add fractions, by means of you have to find the common denominator. Now, of course, you're actually going to subtract the numerators instead of adding them, so that is the difference. When you subtract them, you run into the possibility of having to borrow from whole numbers. So let's do some examples. 4/5 subtract 1/3. Okay, 4/5 subtract 1/3. Our denominators are different, so we have to find common denominators. In this instance, our common denominator is 15. So, times 3, it becomes 12/15. Times 5, it becomes 5/15. Once I get my common denominators, I just subtract my numerators. 5 from 12 is 7. 7/15 is my final answer. 7/15 cannot be reduced, so we're done. All right, next example. 5/8 subtract 1/2. Okay, and looking at this problem, my common denominator is going to be 8. So I don't have to do anything to that first fraction, 5/8. This fraction becomes 4/8. 5 minus 4 is 1. Keep my denominator, 1/8. And that is our final answer. It cannot be reduced. Okay, those two fractions turned out kind of nice and clean. No borrowing there, no reducing there. Let's take a look at this one. 2 1/4 subtract 1 1/2. Okay, 2 1/4 subtract 1 1/2. My common denominator is going to be 4, so I don't even have to do anything to that first mixed number. 2 1/4. My bottom fraction, I'm going to have to times by 2. It's going to become 1 2/4. Okay, and taking a look at this problem, I've got 1 subtract 2. I can't take 2 away from 1. If you've only got $1, you can't give somebody 2. Means I've got to borrow from this whole number. See, I got 2 whole numbers right there, and I can borrow from one of them, so that's not 2 anymore. It's going to be 1. But I just borrowed a whole number. But I already had a whole number, so how do I get that whole number in the form of a fraction? Well, my denominator is 4. So it's going to be 4/4. 4/4, 4 divided by 4 is 1 whole. So that 1 whole that I borrowed from here became 4/4. So my new problem is 1 5/4 subtract 1 2/4. Sometimes you have to manipulate these numbers to get them in the form that you can use. As long as you don't change the value, you can manipulate them and change them any way you need to. So 5 subtract 2 is 3. Keep our denominator of 4. And then 1 subtract 1 is 0. So our final answer is just 3/4. And that is it for subtracting fractions.